Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie Richardson, and I will be your guide for today. So today we are going to do some channeling this morning. I have written down a few channeled messages throughout the week. It's a bit dark in here this morning because I got up half an hour early and threw everybody out. And it is really cloudy outside. So, and the sun's just arisen. So anyways, I will, get into these channel messages and then go from there. We have quite a few messages coming through at the moment. It's really cool what they brought up when I was driving around about fireflies in a jar, and that's why the front title page is of fireflies in a jar. It was really interesting. They were showing me a parallel of humanity's consciousness and these fireflies in a jar. And they said, imagine that a jar has these beautiful lights in it that are all waking up, which is humanity's consciousness all waking up around the world. And then the ones that are holding the jar at the moment, just at the moment, are like little schoolboys that have picked it up, and they're just little rebels. So they pick it up and they shake the jar, and they're trying to get everyone to argue with each other. They're trying to get the fireflies to fight against each other. And of course, if you're in a little jar and you start fighting each other, all your energy goes in on fighting each other, and then you end up just dying. Like one will die one after the other. But they said when that happens, or if that happens, where you perceive the outside world to be shaking the jar, it's not that everyone's going to perceive this, because some of the fireflies or the people that have lit up are going to be above this. So they're not going to be affected whatsoever by anything that the person holding the jar is trying to shake us into. But they said if we teach or we shine our light and we start to realize that we can become above it, then we can pull together. And when we pulled together, they showed me the fireflies all coming together at the top of the jar, and then shining the light so bright that it became intense and burst a hole through the lid. And then they're free. Then they're free to go and do whatever we like. And this is literally what humanity's consciousness is doing now, when we're learning at the moment to shine our light, that we are, we have this special light within us to shine. And then we realize the power of it when we come together, unified, that it ends up freeing us. So this is what they were showing me as an analogy next to the humanity's consciousness. It totally makes sense to me. And this is what's probably coming. So yes, in the past, those that held the jar, so to speak, would be like constantly picking it up, and they're getting too settled, they're getting too united. Let's shake the jar, let's create this problem over here, this problem over here. Oh my God, they're getting too big, they're getting too whatever. Or we don't want them to, they keep us in this matrix of shaking jar syndrome, where we would fight each other thinking that it was the other person next to us that actually created the jar, or the shaking jar, or the problem. So yeah, it was really cool. I like that one. And that's literally what's coming up for humanity in the next few years. But of course, if you've already found that you are a firefly that can teleport outside the jar, inside the jar, wherever you want to go, right? You're free anyway. So you're already above the system. You're already above everything. And it's not to say that you have to teleport to be above the system, but I was just trying to find an analogy of somebody that a firefly that would be outside the jar and inside the jar, wherever they wanted to be. Yeah, and some of us might want to go back into the jar through the hole and save others and that sort of thing. Or, you know, it's not about it. And they said to me, it's not about attacking the hand or anything, but the hand will, because they will get a fright from what happens, they will drop the jar anyway. And so if everybody came out, it would be, you know, that sort of startledness is what they're showing me. And then they won't have anything in the jar to pick up in the end because everyone around them is free. And then they're realizing that they are Firefly as well. That's so interesting what they're showing me. Okay. Hi, Sky. Hi, Debbie. Hey, Arnie. Hey, JP. Good to see you guys in the chat bar, even though I'm half an hour early. Yeah, I really like that. What they were showing me there. So I'll get into some of these channel messages that I did write down, and we'll have a chat about them as well. One of the first ones, a very short one. You can't move into a trusting world without trusting yourself first. And, you know, we're all out here going, oh, you know, we can't trust this and we can't trust that. But it's actually us that we can't trust. So when we start to trust ourselves, we will only bring to us or see through all of the lies and deceptions. And so that we're, you know, we're now on equal playing ground with anyone that's lying or deceiving us, because we're feeling into how we feel about that person, about that scenario, and we're starting to realize. And they're telling me that, you know, the closer we get to this understanding of trusting ourselves, sometimes it seems like everything, every stupid thing seems to be showing up as a deception, like silly little things that are you just see right through them, and you're like, why doesn't everyone else see? Don't worry about anyone else, just see it from your own point of view and move through your life knowing that when you do that, you are backing, you are putting energy into things that you can trust, which is literally shining a light for others to see what they can trust as well. So in other words, some things too, they're telling me, you know, it doesn't, you could see right through them, and you might not be able to trust them in the format that they're showing up as, but you could use them for something else in your life. That sort of thing can happen. But you're above the lies and the deceit of the person that's trying to tell you what the lies and the deception is. And you just, you know, you navigate your life through how figuring out what's the best scenario for you to live an abundant, secure, happy life. Yeah. So there's something on that as well. And I'll go back to my messages, see what the next one is. This is from the CYANIANS. Being different, no matter what that difference is, can manifest into low self-esteem. Why? Because the system created around you is trying so hard to stop you realizing your uniqueness and your difference, that it is the strength to break the system designed to keep you stuck in it. So the way out is to shine, obviously, shine up your differences, because we've been taught, you know, our parents and everything who are still stuck in that system and that matrix, and they're trying to keep you so-called safe because you're too different or you're unique. You know, we've got to somehow put a hand up and just go, you know what? I know who I am, and I'm happy being who I am, and I'm going to show my uniqueness. So the actual system has been designed to keep our uniqueness contained in a very small manner, because there are special gifts within our uniqueness that literally are going to push all the programming out of the system. One by one of us that wakes up with each of our unique piece of the puzzle is going to, you know, then collectively come together, and then that system is just going to fall away, because it's like, well, that's not true, and that's not true, because I've already had this experience that says there's another truth. They're bringing me into an example of that. So, you know, here I am, I'm brought up in a beautiful family, but designed or programmed to shut out any gifts that family has. So my mum even shut it out within herself. So she could see things that others couldn't see. You know, she'd wake up in the middle of the night and see things that were showing her things, and she shut it out. And she shut it out even in all of her kids. She's a pretty powerful woman, beautiful woman, very, very strong and unique. But she shut it out until I left home. As soon as I left home, I started to have visions like she did. And when that happened, instead of, you know, saying, oh my God, I'm going crazy, and, you know, what the heck's going on, I actually found them quite intriguing and curious, and where the Hexus is going, because I knew deep down in myself, in the core of myself, that I wasn't crazy, and I'd never had anyone tell me that I was crazy, soft, emotional, yes, because I felt everyone else's feelings. But the crazy bit didn't come till later, when I started to express it to other people, being naive. And then I started to realize it didn't matter, because I'd already received all these really unique messages from this. Like, for instance, whoever I was with, I would get a vision if I was with somebody that was wrong, or someone coming into my life that was wrong, and it would tell me, no, go, leave, don't, you know, this is what's going to happen next if you stay with that person. Like, I literally had this weird gateway through these visions of telling me who to trust, because I was just an open-ended, trusting, beautiful soul who trusted everything. So it's almost like I needed this higher self perspective to be able to come in and navigate my world as well, help me navigate my world. So here's myself with this beautiful gift, which I ended up reeling in the reins to when I was in my 30s and going, okay, what else can I do with this gift? And oh my gosh, so many other things that I could do with this gift, because then I could start asking. They told me to ask the questions. What questions do you want answered? And so I started asking the craziest questions and started to receive answers through these weird visions that would come to me. See, so I shine my light, even though, you know, outside world would have been, you know, put me in a straitjacket or whatever. And I navigated my world with that. So I never ended up becoming in a straitjacket, you know, never told those people that would put me in that sort of place. So there was this, because I trusted my uniqueness, my gifts, I ended up having a very normal life. Yeah. Okay, what else is there? Hi, Dave. Good to see you. Feel big changes this week and next few. Yes. Okay. Oh, there's changes. There's massive changes going all the way through this year. This year is just one shift after another, after another, after another. And we're not going to be, I think by the end of this year, we're going to look back at the beginning or the rest of our life and go, whoa, what a shift change, what a change I've shifted into. We're not going to recognize ourselves as much. Yeah, really interesting. Just in this last, just the freeingness of what's happening. And lots of things are going to come as almost like you could see as the disguise, something negative that's come into your life, something that's falling away, something that's coming into your life that you go, what the heck? I never asked for that. It's a disguise of something greater, especially if you surrender to what's happening. I've had to do that myself. My partner and I decided to become friends. So we're on the friend boat now, and we're still there for each other. Absolutely. But it's just freeing now. And yes, at first I just thought, oh my God, what the heck is happening? Because I did say to the universe, show me the best result for me. You know, I want to see what the best result is. And this is what's happened. So I'm actually really happy now that I've come full circle the other side. I'm not saying that it won't be emotional and it won't be triggering and all of that sort of stuff, but just keep surrendering to whatever it is that's happening, because there's more to come. There's more to come. And trust in that. Okay, so what's the next one? I'm just reading to see which one I've done. 3:33 on the clock when I got this message. We are all trying to be someone. Now, it's the trying part. We are all trying to be rich. We're trying to stand out as an empath. We're trying to be a singer. We're trying to be this. We're trying to be that. See, you can feel that trying feeling instead of just being, knowing you are special just as you are with all your uniqueness that is you. When you find that you loving you, when you start to love yourself, you have already won the game. This is that there's no more trying when you just like, this is who I am. And at this moment, I'm moving into something different, or this moment, I'm, still the same as what I was when I was in the past. Whatever it is, just being uniquely you, loving you in the moment, who you are, how you speak, love, everything come from your heart. You can't go wrong if everything comes from your heart. Even if you have a reaction from somebody else that's telling you, well, you shouldn't have said that and you shouldn't have done that. It's their stuff. If you come from your heart, this is how the strength that they're wanting us to come into, because there's a certain amount of strength that we have wavered from our unique, authentic self. Know thyself. They keep bringing me to the Matrix, where the Oracle was in the kitchen and there was a plaque above the door when she was talking to Neo, and she's saying, look at that, know thyself. So just like in Alice in Wonderland, you can be the person you always wanted to be, and you could be perceived as somebody that is going to be absolutely incredible and a powerful leader or whatever it is in the future. But if you're not there in this moment, you are not there. So it is when we start to take the strength back of knowing thyself that it's going to burst all the bubbles of trying, and then we no longer put all this energy into something that our logical mind has told us this is what you have to look like to be special. And then we go, okay, we don't need to be that. We don't need to be anything but take a deep breath. And who am I right here in this moment? Do I feel the strength of my unique self right here, right now? That is enough for you to keep moving. Then you don't have to have all your energies dispersed into trying to people please other people, or be perceived as something completely different than what you are right here, right now. See, there's a lot of energy. They're showing me a lot of energy being expanded outwards into forcing things to happen when it's already within you in this moment, and more is already within you. If you keep going back into the core of yourself and saying how much you love yourself, then that core self will become stronger and stronger, which is like they're showing me like a disc getting larger and larger. And what can happen on that disc is all these things are showing up, all these different uniquenesses about you and understandings about yourself, because the core of now I'm going to allow my something that I've been trying to hold back from the world. I'm going to just, if you were a strong empath, I'm instead of putting all that energy into holding it back or trying to fit in to being normal or whatever, then all of a sudden when you go, I accept that as part of myself in this moment and every moment from now on, then the disc gets a little bit bigger, the platform, the bottom of the bucket gets a little bigger. And then it literally, they're showing me like the circle outside of it grows, which actually ignites or puts a light on another gift that you've been hiding that was underneath that gift. So you couldn't have got to the other gift unless you lit up the first one, sort of thing. So it just gets bigger and bigger. And then we walk this world, we walk this planet, knowing thyself. We all become masters of our own creation and what we are creating. And that's beautiful. Another thing that they were bringing up just recently is a good exercise. So this is something that is brand new for me that I've just come into awareness of. And so I'll share it with you as I'm going to share these unique things that I'm being brought into. You can take it or leave it, but it's something that's I think could help a lot of us, not just me, so especially the ones that are watching. in the morning. And you can do this your own way, but if you just center yourself, and you know how they always say meditate into creating your life, and that they said start using your hands. Start using your hands like you're sitting there instead of just meditating. If you're like, I need to shift this blockage, start moving your hands, whichever way you feel, like just naturally, just move your hands. Doesn't matter if it looks silly or anything like that. And then they're saying, but do it from your own perspective of gracefulness, of compassion for you, and whatever feels right. So start using your hands, because what happens is we're bringing our inner world outside of us. We're starting to play with the energies outside of us as becoming part of us. So we become the energy, or the bubble becomes bigger and the outside world becomes bigger, because we're starting to play with the energy with our hands, and the energy that also comes off your hands that you're shifting within you starts to shift the world around you, starts to shift, help others shift as well. So it's more powerful than what you can expect or think. So instead of just closing yourself off, and that's not, if you feel like doing that, if you feel like sitting there and just, being just still, then do that. I'm not saying that every single time, but in the morning, like if you're navigating your world, you could say, bring in, different aspects of your life or whatever that you want to shift, or different blockages within yourself, or opening up of things. Anyway, that's something that I've come into awareness of, and sometimes my guides will lead me to things that will spark understanding of what's really going on with the energy around it. Anyway, interesting. So what else have we got for messages? These ones were from my higher self. Life is meant to be a balance of all things you care about. If you put all your eggs in a couple of things and hardly any in another, you will still feel unbalanced. So in other words, you're putting all of your eggs in work and that's it. Or you're putting all your eggs in your love relationship and that's it. Life will flow when you open yourself life will flow when you open yourself up to living more in the moment, not to push what you think the world wants outside of you. Interesting. Yeah, that's actually similar to what the CYANIANS were saying up there, because your uniqueness could be hiding the very thing that the world said isn't worth your time. So this is all about balance in this message that's come through, and allowance of things to come and go. If you start to find that you're tipping over onto just work ethics or just focusing all on love, then center self again, and then see your life as a fuller picture and ask for things to flow in and out with balance. So it's not to say that 2 days you might not be focusing more on work, but then ask for it to flow in and out, so that you've got, okay, well, now I'm going to sit down with my partner or my friends or whatever and give myself time. Like, they really want us to come into a full circle of balance. Otherwise, you're going to find even in the mundane, like chores and stuff like that, if you are too out of balance with that, there'll always be a corner that's dark and a part of your life that hasn't been explored, and they want us to see everything as explored. Yeah. Leaders were never meant to have more power than people. They were supposed to lead by example of what a good role model is. And the people then naturally gravitate towards them for their guidance in that moment, because of their good approach to life and happy disposition. Otherwise, they are just manipulators, trying to control because they don't feel worthy unless they control many. So that's a pretty powerful statement right there. And you can see just from that statement how imbalanced life has been, because we've been, instead of allowing ourselves to gravitate towards those that are shining, we are giving all our power away to someone that's already in lack of. And you can see that in the way that the ones that do become more powerful, or have in the past, have only become that way because they felt weak within themselves, and so they started to deceive and stand on others, and not care about their outside world whatsoever unless they looked good. That is shifting because of these new perspectives that are coming in, and understandings that a good role model is never going to say you have to follow me. They just shine, and then others decide, yes, there's something there that I really think is good for me at the moment. And then you can shift to another role model later on, or another. And we all have allowance of who we see as our role models in the moments. And there's not one, even a leader will still have a role model. Even those that are in a higher guiding kind of leadership role for this life will still seek role models outside of them, because we're collectively coming together. There's no separation. It's not a pyramid anymore. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a circle. It's many circles, many individual circles coming together to create flower of life, to create power, to see that everyone has gifts and everyone is part of the whole interwoven tapestry of life. And then you've got freedom to move in and out of who you see as your best role model in the moment, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And it could be that those people will end up for the rest of your life being a role model. And it might be that they even come in another life and be a role model again. It could be that way. But we've got to stop with this compartmentalized, limited thing of, if you're not following one person, then you're not getting this information, that you're useless. Because some of us are meant to follow many, 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 many different people. And some of us are meant to just magnetize towards one. This whole compartmentalization on how things should be is breaking away, because that's your logical mind trying to create this reality, and it's not its place to create this reality. It's its place to hold the reality and move and shift and flow with new creations coming in from the soul, which is totally different. Undermining those who are waking up because you know more literally means you are still waking up because you're still judging. Yes, you know more. You were meant to at this time. We aren't all supposed to wake up together. This is a process, if not one person from the eyes of Prime Creator. Sorry, this is a process. My voice is going. This is a process, and not one person from the eyes of Prime Creator feels that any less than anybody else, purely because every single one of us experiences a uniqueness and beautifulness that gives something to Prime Creator. So I have seen, the reason why this one came out and why I said this for my higher self is because I saw a post that was I put up a post, that's right. I put up a post that was on Facebook, and then somebody wrote down below, oh, they should be awake by now, something like that. I can't remember exactly what was said, but that sort of judgy, oh, why aren't they awake? Oh, they aren't, they should. And that kind of, I can feel it straight off when somebody's trying to get to, they're angry. There's an underlying angriness or judgment or whatever underneath it. But that person in themselves, just by judging, has already put them in the same place as those that are unawake. So we have to start just by saying that, right? They're at the same, they're just doing this. You're not awake. I can't be bothered being awake. Well, you're still doing this. instead of, wow, you're in the right place that you're supposed to be in, because I trust that everyone is in the right place that they're supposed to be in, because they've got something unique that they're sharing with Prime Creator. We all are. Everything that we see, that we do, that we experience is sharing with Prime Creator, because we are that. We are Prime Creator having the experience, and through us and our experience, our feelings, our perceptions, our everything, our whole self is Prime Creator having that experience. And that's the one thing I saw when I ended up visiting Oneness. I became the Taurus energy, and the Taurus energy, when I went back into myself, was me. And I'm like, hang on a sec, we're one of the same. We're exactly the same. We are gods, and we are our individual self all at the same time. So yeah, really interesting. Like, if you are resisting something, if you're judging it, you are judging that Prime Creator is, you're saying to Prime Creator, you're not awake yet. But Prime Creator is like, yeah, I know that. I wanted to experience this. I wanted to experience being asleep right to the last minute, or I wanted to experience being asleep in this lifetime and waking in the next, or I wanted to go deeper into the darkness, and I wanted to find out where I could push love, where I could like literally through my own fears, I'm making myself go deeper. But then in the end, it actually creates another platform where love can be expressed in many, many years to come. Like, it's where we're never apart from love. We're never away from it. We are it. It is us. Even if you are blocking it through fear and going in a place that's making yourself feel really uncomfortable, it's still at the wholeness of who you are. Love just been covered up, just been blocked. So you're still love. That's the original you. It's who you are as Source, Prime Creator. So yeah, there's all these really cool, juicy things that are coming up at the moment. Now, the energy right here, right now, is so, it can be jarring and all that sort of stuff, but breathe through it, surrender to it, trust it, see where it's, allow yourself to open, because relationships, even as a whole, are breaking up. And it's not that they're breaking up, the program of them is breaking up. Oh, that's interesting. So the program of relationships is breaking up. We've got this compartmentalized, this is how relationships have to look. You have to be this kind of person, or else you haven't made it. You have to have a specific partner beside you, and you have to move together, and that's it. And then for the rest of your life, if you're together, then kudos to you. You've made it, even if you're feeling really crap. But yeah, from the outside world perspective, you've made it. Relationships are, that they're telling me, should be flowing as well. And it's not to say, they said that you can't find one partner that's going to secure you in who you are, and you're going to grow together and, ping pong off each other and create a beautiful life. There's nothing wrong with that. But we've got to stop closing the door to other opportunities where relationships can be, as in love and partnerships, can be flowing. They can be like, okay, it's the reason why we get so downhearted about a relationship not working is because we feel we've failed. And they're telling me now, you haven't failed. You're just expanding your horizons to another newness as you've lifted, or as you've lifted yourself into a whole other reality that maybe that person's not ready at this moment to come into, and or vice versa. And neither or should be judged either, because we're all Prime Creator experiencing, right? So this is where we're breaking down our logical sense of what our relationships should look like. I mean, there could be many diverse ways of doing things. You could be still with one person as a friend for the rest of your life, and even living together with that friend for the rest of your life, while you go off and, and allow something more romantic over there to happen. And yet that's a different story to this one. Or there could be all sorts of things. It could be that you're just opening yourself up to a whole other beautiful person that's coming into your, and each person that comes in has a specific gift that they're bringing in for you. or it could be that you just find someone, you stay and you with them and you move up the world. It's really interesting what they've given me. It's just this whole open open slather of relationships. And they said that it's already shifting because there's been these unique souls that have come into this life now, and coming into adulthood. They were born in the early 2000s and so forth, where they actually have a lot more broader sense of what relationships should look like. Where the ones that are born, like I was born in my 60s, we have this very strict kind of, my parents, my parents are still together and they're still alive. They've been together since Mum was 19. They've never ever split up. And everyone would go, "Oh my God, that's so wonderful," and it is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong, that's telling me, with my life. My life is being like learning from somebody and then growing out of that, and then moving, and then growing out of that, and then moving, and then constantly throughout my whole life has been this. But the unique thing that's changing is to not get down on oneself when it breaks up, so we don't have that whole "I hate you" business coming into it. Instead, like, learning to part as friends means that you're maturing your level up to more and more and more love. It's not necessarily if we're staying together, it's how we're moving through these relationships, whether we're flowing in and out and still loving each other, no matter where each other are in that relationship. Yeah, I was really surprised that all of that's come up while channeling now, because I'm learning from this as well, going through what I'm going through. So just started feel the need to move my hands in meditation. So crazy that you brought it up, Guy. Isn't it cool that we're actually, like, you're on the other side of the world, right? And we're actually moving through this together from our own intuition, understanding that it's okay to feel free with our bodies. I have a gathering coming up, and I'm going to do a meditation even just for myself, to be able to connect to the Pleiadians and so forth. And when I do it, I want to move my hands. And I have been a sort of person that's like, "Oh God, what are they going to think of me if I do that? They're going to think I'm full." And then I've watched throughout my life people who freely express themselves dancing when I lived in Mullaney up in the mountains and stuff, and they just freely express themselves. I'm like, wow, that's so cool that they could do that. So I started to learn from them that it's okay. It's not, if you do it in a mousy kind of a way and timid way and you're scared, then yeah, someone's going to come up to you and you go, "What are you doing?" But if you do it from an absolute self-supportive way, like I was telling you about the bottom of the bucket, that you know thyself and that you are uniquely being you, and this is you, you're moving your hands from your own perspective. You're not doing it from, I have to do it this way and this way and this way. From a logical sense, we're freeing ourselves. This is literally it's actually freeing ourselves from logic by allowing ourselves to flow more uniquely and not trying to please anyone outside of ourselves but ourselves. So that's really cool. Cherie, I've been under the weather last few weeks. Could be seeing some healing energy. Oh, yes, absolutely, Cherie. We will send you some healing energy. I'm sure everybody in the chat bar would have sent you some as well. But it's we are going through, some of us, especially those that are wanting to move into different territory, different understandings of how we are playing or being ourselves, bringing in more of the leadership role or changing the dynamics of how we are seen by others and not worrying about it so much. There's something shifting within our consciousness of, but it can be when we're letting go of something, it can be where you are mourning the past, a mourning of the past, or mourning of what the logical brain had said, this is what is going to happen for the rest of my life, and so this is how it's going to play out. Otherwise, I'm not going to be seen by others as a specific kind of person. Instead, it's like, it's okay, logical brain. You didn't have the full picture. My soul has the full picture. So we're going to mourn the thing that we thought logically was going to happen, because we had it all planned out in our logical brain, compartmentalized of how this is going to work. And whether you're a spiritual person or not, it's so easy to get caught up in that, well, I've got my home and I've got my relationship, and now I look like I'm this. And so now it goes forward. And now I'm starting to realize, no, it's actually more to do with freedom and allowing me to be free to be in the choices of what we want. And that's not the reason why my relationship has gone into friendship whatsoever. It actually wasn't. It was something that maybe in the recesses of my consciousness I was seeking freedom. I don't know, but that's not the story of what happened. So I'm not going to tell you the story of what happened. It's got nothing to do with anyone else. But yeah, but everything is shifting up from 2024 right up till 2026. Like I keep bringing up those numbers to 2030. And these are, everything is going to shift up in the next decade or so to showing to us, exploring our freedom, exploring what our soul can bring in. And that's the freedom we're talking about. The freedom away from the compartmentalized logical brain dictating to us how we should be seen in this world, and allowing more to come through. You know, they say, you know, somebody who's, you know, into like the queer side of things, and they're coming out of the closet and all that sort of stuff. There's going to be people who are coming out of the closet saying that they are star people. Saying, you know, like I am myself. I am definitely from Pleiades. I know that 100% now. You know, I've had many, many, many lives, and we all have. We've all had the same. We've all, at the core of consciousness, we've had each other's lives. Like that is everything. But the ones that I just come out of, like I know Pleiades energy from the heart very, very well. And so I associate myself as a star being from Pleiades, and from the CYANIAN, the high-end Pleiadian, that's resides close to oneness, because they have many, many different perspectives of life, and they can go in and out of these different perspectives, going closer and closer to oneness. So that's what the CYANIANS is all about, from my point of view. And it doesn't matter. Like we're kind of coming out of the closet kind of thing of, I am a star being. I am from, I don't know, a planet called Betelgeuse. You know, I'm from a rogue planet that's roguing around, and this is the reason why I'm who I am, because our soul has all this information. And when we start to let go of the tightness of the program of the compartmentalized logical mind, all this freeing up of who we truly know ourselves to be starts to be explored. And so then we're literally becoming the aliens walking this planet, which is going to end up inviting many more that are from our home world that we know more of, if we've come straight from there. And then we become the go-betweens, the ambassadors of those that have been doing life after life on Earth, and coming out of that, and those that are from another star system. We become the ambassadors of it all, of it all, from our perspective of who we are in this moment, because we're all, each and every one of us, unique, right? Yeah, a lot more stories is going to start shining through anyway. So much more to explore, and who we think we are, right? And every time I say think, I'm thinking of the logical side, and who we know thyself to be. There's a difference. thinking is obvious is something that we have put ourselves in a small box and gone, well, we have to, we think we're this because then that will fit into the society over there, 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 and there. So I can go join that group and that group and that group. But we're not who we think we are who we know we are. And that's a difference. In any case, I might just, while I'm here, shuffle all the cards and see, just for general reading. I think I'll just do a quick general on the energies at the moment. Well, quite a few fell out together then. So we have the 8 of Coins in reverse. Okay. The 8 of Coins in reverse. So this, to me, like, this is a doing card and fixing, like the person's actually fixing something and he's really, really entrenched in his work and loving it. But I think in reverse, it's more to do with, they're telling me finding a level ground for us to find a platform. We're finding the strength within us to find that next thing that we are going to be working on. And then it's with the 3 of Swords. So with this finding ourselves, we might come into more heartaches, coming up, understandings of what we actually need to let go of, is what they're saying. And it could be something coming from the heart because it's entangled with that we thought we had to limit ourselves with. So we end up feeling it in the heart space when we let it go, when we let certain things go. And it could be anything to do with career, anything to do with anything, a part of life. Like, this is the energy at the moment, is shaking up whatever's needing to be shaken up within you. It could be career, could be relationships, could be anything. Shaking it up so that you can find more freedom within yourself. So even though, like they said, go into the heart space, find where that place is that's been really hurting, go through the emotions, but also see it as nostalgia, see it as, I'm learning to really, really let this program go, really, really see what I am without it, see the uniqueness that starts shining without that program. And the King of Wands, which is in reverse, is interesting because the power of us, it's all like we might feel like we're feeling powerless at the moment through all of this, but just showing up as the King of Wands means that this is what we're attaining to become. We're attaining to become the powerful us through these things that are going to shift and rock our boat and find we're feeling vulnerable or whatever in the moment. But the last one that's come up is the 10 of Coins. So my God, this is literally going to shift you into more abundance, more freedom, more joy, more everything that you desire. There's going to be, and they're asking us to do that meditation, like I said, and move your hands and see, coming from the heart of yourself, that everybody is in the right place for themselves. So everybody is feeling good about who they are in the place that they're at. You don't need to try to wake anybody up or anything like that anymore. Just let it all go and trust that they're happy in that moment from their perspective, and everyone, and you are too. So you're moving towards your 10 of Coins by letting go of being responsible for so much. Yeah. Ooh, that's cool. I like that reading. So that's the reading for this week, and they're saying it's going to carry on for another few weeks as well, but it's actually going to shift faster than what you think once you accept. And surrender is another big word that's coming up for this week. Surrender, 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 surrender. That means that you're trusting who you are. And then the rest of the universe is going to trust you. So, yeah. I think I'll leave it there, guys, until next week and have another chat next week. Oh, no, I might come on again at the end of this week or do another movie. One or the other, depending on what comes through. But I've just come out of my own vulnerable, rocky self and now coming back up into finding my power, my King of Wands within myself. It's going to be interesting, honestly, to see where all this takes us, because the fear or the trying and all of that has been released. And that just sends us a whole new game of freedom to explore way more than what we were allowing ourselves to explore before. So yeah, thank you so much for being part of this team, guys, in the chat bar. I love you guys heaps. Don't forget, I am an intuitive reader, personal reader. If you want to Zoom me, the link is down below, Codes to a New Reality on my website. Go to the intuitive reading page and then you'll see all the different readings that I do. So love you guys heaps. Until next time, bye.